In some ways, the observations in Deuteronomy are a little bit different. The holiday is a little bit different. God's covenant with Israel that is celebrated in Deuteronomy, it's remembered, but I think sometimes when we think about remembering things, we have sort of a nostalgic remembering of things. It's sort of an external to us. Remember back when? Yes, I do. God's covenant with Israel is not just a historical remembrance. It's not just the 4th of July where we celebrate our country's independence by hot dog eating contests and blowing up fireworks. Yes, isn't that great? It's for each generation. One of the things you'll notice as you read Deuteronomy is God is speaking to this generation as though they were the ones that came out of Egypt. But a careful reader will remember this is not the generation that came out of Egypt. This generation actually was the children of the people who came out of Egypt. So why is God talking to them like Pharaoh's right on their heels? Because in ancient Israel, the covenant is for each generation. Each generation must renew, each generation must remember, each generation must live with the gratitude that they themselves were redeemed from captivity. You have been saved. Remember how you were once slaves in Egypt. The whole purpose of the Passover meal is to associate you with the events of the oppression, the tears of the oppression, the bitterness of our servitude, the freedom that comes in Exodus. And you, though you yourself physically never experienced it, you, in some ways, spiritually you do. You associate yourself with that and observe it in that way. I think probably the closest thing we have to sort of understand that is the difference, as I said, not 4th of July, but Martin Luther King, where Martin Luther King's birthday is celebrated very often with symbolic marches. I know that when we lived in Georgia, there was a symbolic march through Rome, Georgia on Martin Luther King, where you can remember, in a sense, participating in actions of the civil rights movement, that as though you yourself were marching for freedom and equality. So that's kind of the sense of Passover. You are associating yourself with it so you can remember it in each generation.